Honestly, this could just be an excuse to play Minecraft. I ain't played this bitch in a minute. I feel like... I don't know how many of you guys can relate to this, but... it almost feels as though I'm stuck in a loop. To be more specific, a loop of specific feelings. I am constantly worried that I'm not doing enough, but at the same time, I'm worried I'm doing too much. Let me elaborate. So, I want to do YouTube stuff, right? But until that works out, I need to get a real job and make money so that I can support myself and afford to live, you know? And the dichotomy in that is I'm not doing really good at either one of them. You know, I'm putting in a lot of effort into my channel and stuff, but, you know, it's all really just luck if the algorithm decides to pick it up or not, if I get demonetized, because the AI that YouTube uses to check stuff just decides that it's my time to get age restricted. I mean, I had to deal with that with the video before my most recent one on my main channel. Got age restricted, and it changed why age restricted because I appealed it. But at first, it was like it said that I was talking about suicide. I don't know if that'll get caught, but it said I was talking like in detail about self-harm or something, and then I appealed it because that did not happen in the video that I could recall. And then after appealing it, they came back like the next day and were like, "Oh no, we changed our minds. It's because of sexual content or adult content in the video." Which was more reasonable, because I looked at the description, it was like, oh, it could have been like, if it's cussing or stuff like that, you know, just saying bad stuff. I was like, that made more sense, but like, why did they change the thing? Which makes me think the AI just isn't as good as it's supposed to be at doing its job. But yeah, dude, like, as I was saying, I'm not doing that good because, you know, I have to get lucky if my video even gets pushed out. You know, a video can get 3,000 impressions and only 200 people can click on it. Which, shout out them 200 people, but, you know, I'm not going anywhere off of 200 views whenever I'm spending any time between 3 days to 2 weeks to a month on a video. Which is it's definitely a thing that it's not unique to me. There's a lot of creators that take a lot of time to put out a video. But the difference between me and them is that their shit is usually better quality than mine. I mean, I'm still pretty new to this. I think I started in 2025. I mean, I think that's when I put my first video out, or it was like the end of 2024 when I was still in high school. I mean, I edited my first couple videos on CapCut on my phone. Like, I would download a Twitch VOD from my Xbox. Like, I would stream on my Xbox, download the VOD onto my phone, which would take ages. And I would edit it on CapCut on my phone and upload it on my phone because I didn't have a PC. So a lot of my early videos, like, there was no way they were going to be good quality. I'm editing them on an iPhone, you know. And then I finally got a PC, and I don't know if you've ever used an editing app on a desktop or anything like that, like Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve, which I use DaVinci. When you first use it and you have like no background doing editing stuff on like official, like really good quality editing platforms, it's like, you ever seen the cockpit of a plane? That's what it feels like. You're like, what does this shit do? And so I'm still like learning how to do it and get better at it. You know, I'd consider myself pretty good now. Not the best by any means, but, you know, I'm moving up in the world. And in the job side of things, I'm not doing any better because at least where I live, it's not exactly the easiest thing to find a job that you want. I mean, I could have a job this month if I wanted to. The problem is I don't want to work fast food or a factory job ever again, and those are really my options. I want to try to see if I can, because I've never done it, I want to see if I can work retail. Because maybe that's not as hard, because on paper, it sounds pretty easy. The hardest part sounds like dealing with the angry customers. But I don't really think I have a problem with that very much. In all honesty. Because, I mean, what, stocking shelves and being in a cashier? Then just pretty much just being in a store for like 8 hours doesn't sound that terrible. I think I could do it. But all the retail places, you know, since it's a pretty desirable job out of the entry-level jobs you could have, I mean, your options are fast food, factory work, blue collar, and like retail. All the retail jobs are taken, or they have such a backlog of people who want the job, like no one's hiring. I mean, they're hiring, but they're not hiring me, because I've applied a million times and I've heard like nothing back. I've made sure I'm not making mistakes on my applications or anything like that. Because, I mean, it was even easier to get a job whenever I was still in high school, when I was like 17, 18, right? Because then whenever I was applying, I was at least getting interviews. But, you know, then again, that's a bunch of fast food jobs, you know, Taco Bell, Subway, Sonic. You know, I had at least an interview with Taco Bell and an interview with Sonic. I had one with McDonald's, and I'd eventually end up getting a job there. Which, I completely understand why people don't like fast food jobs. They suck, dude. I'm pretty sure there's a chart out there that shows, like, how much work you're doing and how much money you're making the company versus, like, how much you're getting paid is, like, an absurd amount. Working in that place sucks, because nobody actually wants to do anything while they're in there. So everybody just gets mad at each other because they're like, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. Or people will just get mad because of personal reasons. Which is lame as hell, honestly. There's no reason you should be getting, like, that mad. We make burgers, bro. Because it'll be someone who, like, is having a reasonable crash out. Like, 27 McChickens are getting ordered. That really happened, by the way. Like, that's a reasonable thing to crash out about. Crashing out because you spent 40 minutes in the bathroom and someone got mad at you for it? Bro, you're the one who spent 40 minutes in the bathroom. But that's a story for another time. I'm not really doing good in either of those positions, right? So I'm in this perpetual state of... When I do work on a video and I spend countless hours editing it, and same for thumbnails, you know, I just spend time putting so much effort into this thing that's not even guaranteed to work. And then on the other hand, if I don't put effort into a video, I feel bad because I don't feel like I'm giving it what it deserves. You know, if I feel like I owe it to myself to make something that I'm proud of, and then if I don't put in that effort for something, it's disheartening, I guess would be the way to say it, or disappointing. It's the job thing, it's like I could have a job, but it'd be a job that I most definitely hate, or I can stay jobless and keep looking for a job that I do want, and there's no, you know, way to say for sure that that'll happen anytime soon. So there's like no positive here, if that makes sense. It's I just feel like I'm being pulled in every direction in life right now. because I've got friends who are in college. I got friends who are working. We all want to do more. You know, there's other stuff going on that I could be a part of. I mean, I really would appreciate having a job to get some money, but that's not where my heart is either, because I really want to be able to give content my full undivided attention. But then there's like, do I say no to going and hanging out with a friend to sit here and edit for another 2 hours? Do I say no to going to the gym so I can stay home and make a thumbnail? It's like getting to that point, and I don't want my friends to feel like they're being used either whenever I ask them to get on the game, because I don't want them to think that they're just there so I can record, you know? Because I do a lot of... I don't just like play games for doing videos either. I play them in my free time. Not as much as I do then when I'm with friends, you know? But I still play them. So, I mean... But I don't really do solo stuff. I did one solo thing on my channel. Outside of this channel, but like on my main channel. Which is I played Dispatch. Because I bought it. And when I started my Dispatch playthrough, I was still working in the factory. Doing my 12-hour shifts and stuff. By the end of the series, I had quit that job. To... put it in a little bit of perspective, like the time frame that we're dealing with here. I kind of regret that I handled it that way. I should have quit then recorded it, honestly, instead of recording it and then quitting halfway, because I could have put so much more effort into editing it and playing the game, because at that time I was balancing it, because I'd come home, turn down hanging out with a friend, have to reschedule that, and then get on the game, play for like 3 hours, edit it, upload it, and then go to bed, go to work the next day, come back and repeat that process until I was done with the series. I did quite enjoy the game, and I was going to play it even if I didn't make a series on it, because if you go look at it, even I'm a little disappointed with how it turned out, because I was so invested in the game that I hardly even acknowledged that anything was even going on. You know, like I didn't like talk over the game or like give big observations. I did a little bit, you know, as the game went on, but I was mostly just sitting there silent, like enjoying the game, which is not good for content. You know, usually you want to have some sort of commentary, and I was very bad at it because, first of all, it was my first time really just talking to the camera, talking to the microphone, because I had a webcam on for it. You know, I do these videos for like 2 reasons. One, because there's a lot of stuff I need to get off my chest, and I talk about it on here. And 2, because I think it'll make me be better at talking for when I would be recording by myself, or when I'm just in front of other people that I don't know. Because the difference whenever you go look at videos where the videos I'm alone in, and then the ones that I have friends and we're playing a game, it's like I'm a completely different person. I hate how long it takes to kill shit with your hands in this game. As I was saying, like I'm a completely different person. If you compare them side by side, I don't even sound the same. And I watch a lot of YouTube myself as well, so I see I'm consuming a lot of the same shit that I'm making. I'll rewatch my own videos to see if they're quality enough and stuff. Sometimes I'll just go back because I forget what happened in that video, just to have some sort of entertainment, because I do enjoy rewatching it, because, you know, it is me and my friends being ourselves, having fun. Nothing wrong with re-experiencing it. And I come across this problem where I'm just like, should I be editing right now? Should I be grinding right now? Should I keep my foot on the gas? Should I spend every waking moment that I have time dedicating to this content stuff? And on one side, I'm like, maybe I should, because maybe success would come faster. And then on the other hand, I'm like, well, I have friends that I go and hang out with all the time, like minimum like once a week. That's like the lowest end, like unless we are all extremely busy. But even then, we'll hop on the game, you know. And then on the other hand, it's like I want this to work like really badly. I don't want to work a normal job. It's also because like I grew up watching a lot of YouTubers, you know, big inspirations, like, you know, Vanoss and stuff. I've always wanted to do this kind of thing. So, you know, it's like, and I tell this to people, I'm like, you should be putting your heart into the things that you care about and you actually want to do more than, you know, that one job that you're only working right now because you have to, because you need the money. So do I follow my own advice and just keep going down the path of of putting all of my time into doing YouTube and like cutting out hanging out with friends as much and going and doing real life experiences and trying to get a job to get me through? Or do I you know, stay connected with my friends, try to have a good time with my friends, you know, because I'm young, go hang out with friends and stuff, maybe get a job so I can pay to do more things with friends and help my family out, because I still live with my parents and two brothers. You know, I have this dichotomy there, because there's so much that I want to do, but there's also so much that I have to do. Like, I have to find a job, I have to help pay bills, I have to do something. But then there's, I really want to have the YouTube thing work out for me. So I'm this constant battle back and forth where I need to, where I'm disappointed because I don't have a job and I'm not helping my family out and I'm not able to, you know, when I go out with friends, buy my own stuff or give gifts or, you know, pay for a friend's meal whenever we're out hanging out or stuff like that, right? That just doesn't, I can't do that anymore, because when I had a job, I was buying all the time for people, just for no reason, just out of the kindness of my heart. We'd be out doing something, I would ask them if they want something, and or sometimes I wouldn't ask them if they want something, I would just get them something anyway, because I know they like it, you know, and I miss being able to do that for people. And I miss being able to buy myself shit, honestly, too, so that would be a major upside. But if I have a job, it's not probably going to be that great for my productivity on the editing side, because I'm going to have a reduced amount of time every week to focus on doing the videos, which is really what I want to do. I also have less time to record, less time to play, less time to see friends, because I've been spending most of my time at work. Unless I get like a part-time job, and then I'm probably not making a lot of money. So it's like a middle ground, I guess. I don't know, I guess I really just want this to work out for me, and my mind can't figure out which one is more important to me right now. Not disappointing my family and getting a job and doing what they want me to do, or finding a job and, or not finding a job and pursuing what I think I want to do the most. Because one's extremely selfish, but at what point in my life will I finally stand up for myself and do something for me? You know, why is everything always about someone else? Yeah, I'm sorry if you're watching this and you're like, why is this idiot tearing the wall down he just made? Because this idiot forgot that he was going to have the wall sit in a block, so it adds depth. I don't know. I'm just testing stuff out. I'm not the greatest builder ever. You know, I just seen a video talking about it one time, and I was like, maybe I'll give it a try. So maybe I'll like how it looks. Maybe I won't. Will this still look good? Only one way to find out. But yeah, it's like, it's confusing, you know, how stuff like this works. And I guess the worst part would be the feeling that I am letting a lot of people down. Because everywhere around me, I'm being judged by people. Either my friends who went to college or friends who went into blue collar and they're working all the time. Because I don't make no money. So I'm a bum to them, you know. And it's hard to explain to people that don't care that I'm doing something that could pay off down the line, or I'm doing something that's important to me. Because, I mean, you hear it all the time, like the stories of musicians or people who make movies, actors, stuff like that, where, like, nobody believes in them. I've had, I think, one person to date say that they believe that I can do it. Everyone else has been like, oh, okay, cool. You know, if you can do it, cool. But you can obviously tell when they're saying it, they don't really, like, mean it that much, I guess. It's like, I think they think that I'm, like, delusional. Because I have, like, a crazy amount of self-belief that I can do it, and that I really want to do it. I guess they just think that I'm wasting my time. That's not what it really feels like to me, you know? I don't know. Maybe I just need to do both. Get a job and lock in. I mean, I'm gonna get a job anyway, but I have a hard time because I'm trying to balance like 3 things in my life right now, and it's, you know, having fun, making money, and pursuing my future, which I want my future to be in YouTube. So, you know, it's a tall order, because every second I'm spending having fun, I'm not spending it making money. Every second I'm making money, I'm not having fun or pursuing content. And every time I'm pursuing content, I'm not making money and I'm not hanging out with friends. Even though my friends do quite enjoy my videos when I do upload. They don't watch this because they don't know the channel exists. Only one of them does, and he doesn't watch. I told him he doesn't have to watch. If he wants to subscribe, he can, because he asked me what it was called. I was like, you don't have to watch it or anything. But he wanted to subscribe to support, so shout out him. It is kind of sad, though, that I have to, like, ask them to support me instead of them just being willing to, you know? Because watch time is very important. I mean, even if you just throw it on in the background and you don't actually watch it, that'll do something. I'd prefer you to actually watch it and give me critiques on if you enjoyed it or not, because I value your opinion kind of shit, you know? But I mean, if the least you can do while you're busy doing whatever it is you're doing is, you know, throw it on in the background, that's fine. But I mean, people don't even want to do that. I don't know, we just live in a weird time, I guess, to be alive. Because pursuing creative stuff has never been like easier, you know. It's the easiest it's ever been. Anybody could blow up at any time. But on the other hand, we live in a time where everything's expensive, and since there's so many people trying to do the same thing, how do you say it? It's like diluted. There's 5 other people in your same niche doing the same thing you're doing. There's 20 people who want it more than you. There's 20 people who have more time than you, have more money than you, more budget than you. 20 people who can do it better than you. Like, what am I supposed to do with my competition on this platform? Are, you know, these geniuses who have completely optimized their thumbnails, and they know how to color grade everything and have the best sound design and 20 plugins on their pirated version of Adobe products that they've had since they were like 12. You know, I'm trying to learn this and do it the right way. I don't want to cheat, you know, I don't want to use AI or anything like that. I want to do it the way they used to do it, you know, just hop on with a couple friends, have a good time, maybe make somebody's day better by making something entertaining, and, you know, just do that. Of course, I want to eventually pursue doing something IRL, because, you know, if you think I'm having fun on the game, you should see me when I'm hanging out with friends IRL, you know. We can turn Walmart into a fucking Dave & Buster's. But, you know, that's besides the point. It's like, nowadays, it's like you have to have the best audio quality, you have the best editing, you can't have a single down moment, you gotta have 30 transitions, you gotta have super crazy Mr. Beastified thumbnails. You can't be unique anymore. Go look at, and I will say this is a bigger issue with it with streamers who also do YouTube than it is with just people who want to do YouTube. Go look at your favorite YouTuber or streamer, you know, like Jinxie, whoever. They're like fence sitters. None of them have like any unique opinions, and the ones who do are so far like out of the water, it's like crazy. The options are they either never have an opinion, or they're Hassan Piker, or fucking Alex Jones, or whatever his name is. It's like there's no middle ground. If there's ever anything that's going on, like a drama, it's either they have no take, or they take the safest opinion, or they go with the furthest off the end lunatic decision. Like, what happened to the uniqueness of people, where they weren't afraid to say how they felt about something? That's not a thing anymore. It's all anger and violence and negativity on the internet. I sound like a hippie. It's like there's people aren't willing to, you know, be honest anymore. You know, when you're getting me on here, you're getting me. There's nothing like, I'm not hiding anything, I guess would be the way to put it. But there's so many people that get their following on here from taking advantage of people's ignorance to their private lives and stuff. It's like, I don't want you to know my whole private life or anything. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I mean, the people who thrive off the drama, and that includes the people who talk about it. They're gonna say the things that get people to react the most viscerally, so they'll share it and talk about it, instead of, you know, helping get rid of the real problems that are going on. Like, nothing's authentic anymore, and I feel like I couldn't be anything if I wasn't authentic, because, like, who am I if I'm not myself? Why would I try to pretend to be something I'm not? I mean, if I want to be something, I'm going to strive to be that, but I'm not going to give up being me to hold up an image that doesn't exist. If that makes any sense. Not to mention that sometimes we platform people who say or do things that, you know, really should get them more trouble, but nowadays, instead of getting in trouble and getting repercussions, you get more followers and more views, because it's become such a thing where it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong, someone's going to agree with you, and you're going to get that mob mentality that's going on. I mean, we see this with, I guess an example would be Jinxie and his ability to revive games, which is good. This is a good example, but, you know, some people are doing that, but instead of reviving games and showing niche stuff, they're hating stuff. Like, have you noticed that it's like cool to hate shit now? It's weird. Like, what happened to showing people things you like. You know, like sharing the experience. Now everything has to be gate kept. Everything's, you know, about aura and being mysterious or whatever the fuck. Like, what happened to just having fun? You know, what happened to that? That's what I want to see. That's what I want to watch. I want to watch, you know, the people like Yummy or Soup. I want to watch Isaac Y. I want to watch these funny, entertaining stuff, or I want to watch something informational. Informational? Is that the word? Informal? I don't know, something to learn. Like, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Wendigoon. I go and watch his stuff sometimes, where he talks about like the murder cases and stuff like that. Like, that's cool. Or talking about scandals that happened. Or listening to music. I love music. But now it's more about selling you hatred. Like, go look at any Marvel Rivals content creator. I would argue that like half of their content is them hating on new updates. Go look at a lot of stuff Siege related. It's either talking about how bad the updates are or how bad the game is. Like, what happened to just playing shit and having fun, dude? Same thing that happened with like Fortnite. People got on a bandwagon that Fortnite sucks, and then the player count dropped. Not because the game actually got worse, which you could argue it did at certain points, but because it wasn't cool anymore. I mean, the second a game comes out, it immediately gets labeled a fraud game. It immediately gets labeled dog shit by people who have barely put an hour of gameplay into it, and people just hop on that bandwagon of, I hate this, you know? I mean, BO7 could be a good example. I will say BO7 multiplayer, BO7 campaign, dog shit, but what's wrong with the zombies? I've played it, and I don't have an issue. I mean, it's a little hard for me, because, you know, I suck, but you know, all this call to return to the old way. But what was happening when everything was the old way? Oh, they were asking for shit to change because it wasn't unique, you know. You can't complain about getting the same game every year, and then when they change shit, complain. Figure out which one you want. Do you want it to change and evolve and get better, or do you want it to stay the same? And if it stays the same, I mean, if it changes, you could always go back and play the older games. You were going to do that anyway. Like Payday 3 and Payday 2. They both have their respective fans. But I'm not going to sit here and say Payday 3 is unplayable. I've played both. I enjoyed both. I think both are great games. Payday 2 is, it's not perfect by any means, but it's really close. You know, it's extremely enjoyable. I mean, the only real issue the game has is, you know, Starbreeze and, you know, the game engine that it's on. In Payday 3, people fail to remember that Payday 2 launched in a similar state where it was all buggy and had no content. The reason Payday 2 is what it is today is because it's had countless DLCs and updates. Like, Payday 3's been out for a bit now. I think it came out in 2023. You know, it's just now starting to catch up on that content train and fix problems it's had. You can say the same thing about Rainbow Six Siege. When Rainbow Six Siege released, came in a really bad state. People didn't think it was going to last, and here it is today. A very, very popular game. So the everything on the internet is just so divided on, do I shit on it and give negativity, or do I try to give hope? Because people don't want to hear like it's all right. They want to hear either it's the worst shit ever or it's the best shit ever. And so it's a lot easier. It's like when you're in high school and you're doing an essay that goes against what you actually believe, but you want a high grade, so you're going to write it how you think the teacher will like it more than what you believe is true. That's what's going on with a lot of YouTubers. Because there's people who today that I know who think Siege is unplayable. I've been playing it for a bit now, like I said earlier. It's not perfect by any means, but I like it. Why are we letting what YouTuber number 7 say about the game dictate if we like the game or not? because the problem is the game has a content issue. Ever since they switched to doing one operator a season instead of two, I've been very adamant that they switch back. You know, so we don't get content enough. We get a map every, like, 18 years. New gun every 18 years. So it's a content issue more than it is anything else. But the biggest problem the game has, other than that, is the fact that there's a bunch of cheaters. But the game has good bones, and it gets under my skin the way people throw it out, like it's a terrible game and it can never be good, when it can be. I mean, I don't know. I just wish things weren't as confusing. I'm tired of being worried about if I'm gonna achieve what I want or make it. I'm tired of worrying about if I'm going to be left behind by everybody around me because I'm trying to pursue something else. And instead of giving up like everyone else has, I'm trying to really do what I want to do and what my heart says to do. I don't want to be afraid to do stuff. And that's been a big thing. I feel like a lot of people feel the pressure from the world, I guess, to live up and be something that they're not, you know, to work a job that they hate for a company that doesn't care about them just because it's what everyone else is doing, and if they're miserable, you should be too. What happened to working for yourself, working because you wanted to do stuff? Why are we working? Because it's because of the optics of it, instead of working because that's something that's going to further our lives, you know? Oh, that's gay. I guess the moral of the story is, like, do what you want to do, be what you want to be, and it'll work or it won't, but don't let it end because the people around you told you can't. Let it end because you decided it wasn't going to work. Don't be controlled because what the public says you should and shouldn't do, you know? I mean, I know it's hard to hear from the people that you consider important, you know, parents, loved ones, friends, family, whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, it's hard to hear those kind of things from them, you know, that they don't believe that you could do it or that it's insane or whatever they may say. You don't want to hear that from them, but it doesn't mean they're right, you know. Where would so many of our greatest minds and greatest creatives be if they had listened to everyone telling them to stop? And maybe, just maybe, your stuff won't be appreciated now while you're here. But if I remember correct, I think it was Picasso, or I mean even a lot of poets. Their work wasn't really cared about until way later. And I'm not saying you're the next Picasso, but you can be, you know. Maybe it'll take a while for your stuff to get found and appreciated, but you know, eventually it will be appreciated. Think about all the bands like that have broken up and stuff, and their music goes viral like years down the line. Or people who have been dead a long time, their music coming around much after their lifetime. They never got to live and see the success or know how it feels to be successful because their stuff didn't pop out because they were ahead of their time or something, you know? That could be you. Which you can see that as being hopeful or unhopeful, however you want, I guess, but no, that is an option. It's that just the world's not ready for whatever creative vision you have right now. I mean, Imagine if hyperpop was a thing in the 90s or the 80s, and now it might have only worked because it came out at the time it did. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. Like, imagine metal music came to be during the 1300s. You know, I don't think Metallica would have been as popular. I know these are weird examples, but you know, just maybe we're just ahead of our time. And I think that might make it a little easier to deal with and less daunting if I think about it that way, that maybe I'm just ahead of my time. Because it gets rid of the idea that I just suck and replaces it with I'm perfectly fine and I could still be great. They're just not ready for me yet. You know, maybe that's what it is. But I'm ready, and I guess that's all that matters, you know? I'm ready to do great things. I wonder if there's anything else that's on my mind. I'm trying to think. I can always think of stuff until I click the record button, you know? What is there really to do anymore, you know? What does our generation have? Or, I mean, even, like, just... Not even just my generation. You know, I'm Gen Z. Like, what do people that are alive at the same time as me right now... What do we do for fun? You know, me and my friends, we go to, like... We'll drive an hour away just to go to a park that we haven't been at very much, you know? Like a park with swings and shit. I'm being dead serious as well. Like, what should I do to have fun? We've walked in the forest, we've rode around on back roads, we've went to other, like, places. We haven't, like, traveled. We haven't gone to another state. We've gone out of state, like, one time. But, I mean, like, what is there to experience that I haven't done yet because I feel like I'm missing something? I mean, is the only option to get high and drink and chill at a friend's house? Because I've done that plenty of times. And of course it's fun, but I mean, is there anything else? I mean, we went and played basketball for a night. We've played the game a million times. I mean, what did the people before us do, you know? There's only so many times I can go, like, get drunk or smoke or hit a vape and chill in a car and ride around in a different place or walk around in a Walmart before I get bored. You know? Am I, like, missing something? If you got any ideas, throw them in the comments. If you even made it this far, it's a long-ass video. I got a lot of silence to cut out, though. I'll appreciate it, though. Alright, enjoy yourselves. Have a good time, and hopefully one of us will make it successful. Maybe both of us, you know? Never say never. You guys have a great night.